Alright, so here's one of our brand new flask boxes that we made. We're going to be starting off by making Scorpion's Kunai. And I have two different 3D prints here. So one I have kind of cut in half with these pegs, which will make it pretty easy to at least get started in the sand. I'm still kind of nervous about these inner parts right here pulling up when I try to remove it from the sand. And then we have a solid one. So this one we're going to indent into the sand and then cover the other half. But I wanted to try two different methods to see which way kind of works better. I feel like this way will work better, having the cut in half method. But I do have these holes, which I wasn't expecting to be in my 3D print, so we're gonna have to kind of work around that. Some baby powder to prevent the sand from sticking. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to dig out these holes in the red one so we can lock in these pins here. And then we need to press this into the sand halfway. Now a big part of making sure you do a good mold, which this is actually going to be like my first like weapon dagger kind of thing. I did a throwing knife in aluminum, but this is the first time I'm going to be doing something in aluminum bronze, which also has a much faster cooling rate because it's a lot more conductive. We need to make sure that the risers and the sprues, or whatever you want to call them, and the gates are plenty big enough so that way a lot of metal can go in and feed the part. And then we also need to know where to put them. You also need to know like how long to make them, where to put them, and so it can be really complicated. I'm thinking about putting one right here to go to the handles, and then probably like one right around here somewhere that will go on like the wider part of the blade. The wider parts are where I'm more concerned about because those are the parts that stay molten longer, and they also are the last to cool down. So if this handle part cools down first, there's not going to be any metal coming in from here to be able to get down there. And so I want to have a backup on this side of this small handle here, so that way in case this freezes, I could still pour down this side and hopefully fill in the rest of it and get it finished. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, so that's about halfway. I'm just going to add some baby powder, prevent it from sticking. Put it back in. Okay, now I think we're ready for the top half. Fits perfectly. Might be using a little too much baby powder, but I'd rather have a little too much than not enough. Before I get too far, here's what I'm thinking we use for the sprue. And then we need one more right here. Well, we're all out of new petrobond, so now I'm going to try to use some old stuff. Hopefully it sticks to the new stuff pretty good. Just a little disclaimer, you can reuse petrobond. Like this is all like the burnt stuff that I got out of older casts and stuff. All you have to do is just mix it with a little bit of motor oil or some kind of other oil and give it a good stirring. You need quite a bit more than I feel like I was told. I used quite a lot of oil in order to get it thick, but maybe it's just because I waited so long. The sand just started separating and stuff, and once I started putting the oil in it, it started sticking a lot better, and I was able to use it again. So you can reuse it. All right, so we want to take these out first, then we want to dig the hole around it. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit of sand in there. I'm going to smooth out the holes so that it doesn't bring any sand down with it. Vent holes. Okay, I think that's enough. Now we got to take it out and get the pattern out. Mostly good. Just got some touch up to do. I want to add some vent lines first. I know I added vent holes and stuff, and I have 2 risers, but I still want to add vent lines. Okay, now we're ready. It seemed very good that it saw the sand moving. Hopefully everything's okay down there. I wonder if the sand was starting to slide. That makes me a little concerned. Oh, you know what? Yep. It's starting to slide off. Well, I guess there's only one thing we can do is try and cast it, and hopefully it didn't fall down all the way. All right, time to get melting. Okay, so we're going to be making aluminum bronze, and in order to do so, I'm going to do about a 90% copper, 10% aluminum. So I got some failed projects here. I'm gonna melt down for the copper. The tricky part is trying to figure out exactly how much we need. So I'm gonna figure that out real quick, and then we'll fill up the crucible. Okay, so we got 2,553 grams of copper. So we'll need about 284 grams of aluminum. Copper coated aluminum. Yeah. 288. That's fine. 63 grams of aluminum because I felt like it wasn't enough because the copper coating and some of the slag, there's a lot of slag in there too from the aluminum wire, so I added a little bit more. But I think we're ready to pour it. We just gotta slag it first. All the vent holes lighting up is a good sign. Felt like I didn't pour as much as I needed to. I almost filled up an entire big ingot, but I guess we'll see. Hopefully the sand didn't collapse in on the bottom half. Oh yeah.
Let me see the front again.
Oh, hold on.
Wow, there's the sun. Wow. Oh, plus you had extra?
Yep, had a whole ingot.
Oh, shit.
I was kind of surprised at how much I had. Look at the beautiful color on that cut. I can't wait till these are polished up. Look how great these turned out. So far, the only flaw I see is this angle here just doesn't match the other one as much. It's not as pointed, like it just didn't quite reach the point before solidifying. The other one did, but this one just a tiny bit, barely even noticeable. So I'm just gonna probably repoint both of them to make them match. Okay, so we got decently far. Here's what we got so far. Bring it up a little closer. I got this polished down to 320 right now, and I have some pretty big plans for these. The other one didn't turn out as good as that one, but still pretty good. There's some imperfections on it. This one I still have to polish down to 320 and kind of see what I can do about some of these pitting, some of the pitting on here. But I will show you guys this one because this is the next step as far as what I want to do. So what I'm going to do is I have some liver of sulfur here. And what liver of sulfur does is it's basically like an oxidizing agent, and it works really good on like silver, copper alloys. And so this is the first time I'm doing this. I'm just going to mix it in with some water and just follow the instructions like it tells me to do. So I got 12 ounces of hot water here, and I basically just got to mix like a teaspoon of this stuff and then apply it to the surface that I want to darken, and just kind of wait, and it'll darken whatever surface I put it on and oxidize it. So that might have been even too much. That came out a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. I also heard that lightly torching it can also make it oxidize a lot faster, so I want to give that a try too, just to see how that works. definitely looking darker. Well, it seems to be working a little bit. I think torching it is definitely the best method, but... Okay, so I finally figured out how to put this patina on, this liver of sulfur. And what you have to do first is torch the surface that you want to apply it on. This is the way that I found works best, because I tried just applying it directly, I tried soaking it, and this is like the darkest I got. But if you see here, this is what I got when I did the torching method. And obviously you'll have to resand any surfaces that you don't want the darkened color. All right, here's the handles all darkened up. This one I got pretty good. Now I just got to shine the rest of it and then put the finishing touches on, hopefully tomorrow, and they should be done. I might have to touch this one up a little bit more just to darken up some of those brighter spots, but pretty close. That felt great. Probably not the best handle you've ever seen, but hey, I think it works. Gotta definitely do some touch-up polishing. Man, that buffing wheel really got a nice polish in some spots, but it's not very consistent. Need like a better buffing wheel and polishing compound or something. Wow, that feels great. It's coming along. Got the chain on. I just need to kind of crimp it on somehow. I don't know how to do this. I'm gonna want a cloth so I don't scratch the stainless steel. Well, here's the chain. 3-foot chain. Pretty freaking awesome, huh? I just got to finish polishing it and get it buffed up, and then we'll have the final reveal. Alrighty, time for the final reveal. So here she is. I'll take some good pictures later too. Now, I've never thrown one of these, and we're going to do it, but I'm kind of worried about throwing this thing. Pretty sharp and dangerous. The edges aren't very sharp, because I could have sharpened them, but I really didn't want to make this any more dangerous than it already is. I've gotten cut and poked and prodded and burned like 100 times. You can see I got a pretty nasty burn on my thumb and my index finger when I was doing the patina on the handle. Yeah, I grabbed it. That was not very smart. Not one of my brightest moments. So let's try to throw this thing and see if we can get it to stick in this wood. It's gonna take a lot of tries. And this is tough because the chain is so heavy, it kind of like pulls on the knife. There we go. Man, that is tough. Definitely got to give Scorpion some credit. It's definitely a deadly weapon, but not with me. you'd have a better chance at just using my fists. It'd probably make a really good whip though. Especially if you sharpen the edges. Be like Kratos with the blades of chaos. I'm gonna end up hurting myself again. Ow! Yep. I already stabbed myself. Ooh, that was a good one. Maybe underhand is the trick. Ooh, yeah. I mean, he kind of does do it underhand, doesn't he? It's kind of like that, isn't it? Yeah, that definitely works a lot better. Gotta be really careful because when you try to pull it into your hand, the points are on the bottom too. So if you pull it too far, stab yourself. Not a really ideal design, is it? Wonder how many different designs of Scorpion's blade there are. It's probably like 100. Yeah, that definitely works the best though. Well, I've spent a lot of hours on this, guys. I've spent probably a good day or two just polishing and sanding and grinding. That's like 95% of this work I do. It's like 5% casting and then 95% all the other stuff. It's definitely rewarding. I just really need to get a lot better with the sanding and the polishing and the grinding. So if you guys have any advice, tips or tricks or anything, especially how to get like a nice mirror polish, the easiest and the cheapest way possible, definitely let me know those things. And if you've seen anything during my videos, like even the casting or the mold making or anything that you think would be some good advice, let me know as well. So I'll see you guys in the next video.